In this video, we are going to set up the Redux for our application. So here you can see when I click on continue, I move to the home screen, and here you can see the data from the API. So we have set up the actions here in home actions. We have called the API, and inside the reducers we have created the slice. So if you want to use the Redux in your project, then you can check out this video. And this is the root reducer. We have created the type here, and we have also created the store. And here inside the home screen we have called the APIs and fetch the data from the API. So let's start with uh, installing the required dependencies here. So first one is Redux Toolkit, and the second one is Redux-Thunk, Create Redux, then Redux, and Redux-Thunk, and then Redux-Persist. We would be using Redux-Persist to persist the store. It can retain the application state before closing the application. So when you open the application again, then it will like it will be good user experience because of the retained state. So application will show as it is. It won't hit the API again. Okay. So I already have installed these. Uh, so to save the time, so just remove these, and you can install it. And for Redux persist, we are going to uh, use async storage. This is for the web. Uh, the storage it uses the local storage for web. For application, we need to use the async storage. Okay, so let's copy the syntax from here. So for storage, we would be using async storage. We will import persist reducer. Okay, then it also need a root reducer. So inside the root reducer, I have created the empty reducer here. So we can uh, we can name it as root reducer. Okay, let's remove this and export the root reducer, and we can import the root reducer from root reducer. Okay, now let's create the store const store. So we will configure restore first. So configure store from Redux Toolkit. Inside this, we would be using this persisted reducer. And for middleware, we will use get default middleware. Okay, and this will be returning get default middleware, and it will have serialize check. We will check the serialization here. So there would be ignored actions, ignored actions. So inside the ignored actions, there are some actions like purge, flush, pause, and persist. So we can check for this. We can ignore these actions from the serialized check. So let's do it. Flush, persist, purge, and register, and rehydrate. Okay, these we will remove, and we will concat the thunk here from the Redux-Thunk. So our store is created. Now we will export this store. Const persist, and we will pass it in persist store from Redux persist, and we will pass the store here. Okay. Now what we will do, we will be using provider, and we will be passing the store in here. So uh, let's export this store also. So we will go to app.tsx. So inside the IIT Next provider, we will use the provider from React Redux. Let's move it into this. We will use the store here, store from store, and inside this we will use this one, persist gate. Okay, and inside the persister we will be using our persister from the store. Okay, so the Redux setup is done for the uh, provider. Now let's, okay, what this saying, so command is an object whose values are reducer. Okay, so it is saying for the reducer we did not provide any reducer here. So let's move to the actions first. So here is our action. Inside the home, we will create one file. Name is home action. Home actions.ts. So inside this, we will create one action to fetch the data. So we can do const here, const fetch. We will be using JSON placeholders APIs here for fetching the posts, so that we can do the real-time setup in the Redux. So let's use this fetch post data, and we will use create a sync thunk for this, create a sync thunk, and this one is type prefix, so we can name it we can name it anything. So for understanding, we will name it as post slash fetch post data. So it should be like unique for each API call. Okay, so let's create a sync function here. Now, we will call the API and get the response inside this response constant. So let's await, and we do not have access yet. So let's install it. Yeah, access. So access is good. It provides more control over the API calling. Access, access.get. So we will pass the URL here. So this is the URL. Okay, to get the posts, and what this fetch function will return, it will return the response dot data. Okay, So let's export this function also. Okay, first we will do with the get API, then we will also see how we can do the post API also. Okay, so now let's create the slice for it. So move to reducer. Inside the home, create new file, home slice.ts. Okay, now inside the const use the post home slice, not post slice, home slice. So what we will do, we will use the create slice method here from Redux Toolkit. It will create the slice here. We will name it as post, right? The name should be unique here. Inside the initial state, we will pass the initial state. So let's create the initial state, const initial state. So inside the initial state, we can have the data object, which will be null initially, and we will fill the data from the API. Okay, so let's take one more state to check if it is loading or not. So let's make it idle first, and then one is for error. So what type of errors we are getting? So we will do this. So we can directly pass the initial state here. Now third argument is reducers. So we will make it empty here because we are not using the local functions for the asynchronous tasks. We will use extra reducers. Okay, so extra reducer provide us the one argument which is builder. So what builder do? Builder provides us the cases. So it is first one is add case. So inside this we will call the fetch post data API, and if it is in pending, then we will get the state here. So what would be inside this state? State dot loading, we will make it as pending. Okay, and as it is still in pending, so error would be null here. Okay, now we will create the second case dot okay, so dot add case. This would be for if our request is fulfilled. Okay, the API runs successfully, so we will make the loading is okay, we will make it as success, and the data is, and the state also is, error is null here, and state dot data. Inside the data, what we will return, whatever we will there would be one more output we are getting if the request is fulfilled here. So we will get the action. Inside the action we will have the payload, and inside the payload we will have the data. Okay, so it's done here. Now what if the application, the API like gets rejected for some reason? Suppose API gets rejected. So in this case, we will set the loading to failed. Then error would be action dot error dot message. Okay, this would be our error. If suppose we do not get the error inside the message, then we will do the n error. Okay. So string is not assigned, type null. Okay. Let's make it empty here. Okay. Now the slice is created. Now what we will do, we will export the slice. So export default home slice, and we will also export the xn here. Const get post data. So we will get the state here, and it would be type of root state. Root state. So let's first create this root state. So inside the types.tsx, types.ts, we will export this root state. Okay, type root state. Export type root state. Okay, so let's import this root state from types. And what it will return, state dot post data. So we do not have post data yet. So we will go to the reducers. Now it's time to define the first reducer. So it will be post data, and from where we will get, it's from the home slice dot reducer. Okay, so we have created our slice. Now we will go to the screen, home screen. Let's create the home screen first. Yes, now home screen is created. Now go to root navigator, create the home screen here, pass the home screen. Okay, and now in the sign in screen, we are having this continue button. Let's make this continue button to move to the home screen. So on the button, press navigation actions dot navigate to home. Okay, let's click on this. This it has been come to the home screen. Now we will create one card here. Let's do the styling quickly. Okay, home screen. Styles dot postcard. So we show the post data inside this card. So what is the data we are getting here? So inside the post we are getting one title and the body. So what we will do, we will create the card here. So we will give the width as the 80% for now. So the card is created. Let's fetch the data here. use effect. Inside the use effect, we will call our APIs. So for that, first we need to create the dispatch function. Use dispatch. Okay, so we will pass the dispatch in the dependency. If we dispatch dispatch the fetch post data function here. The parameter type unknown action. Okay, so we have to provide the type also here. Let's make it app dispatch and create the type inside the types.js. So same export type app dispatch. So the type would be type of store dot dispatch. Okay, let's import the dispatch here. Now inside the post data, let's use selector. Get post. We have created the get post data right inside the home slice. Okay, let's export it. Get post data. Let's check the post data if we are getting or not. Console.log. Post data. Okay, so we are getting the post data here. So instead of here, let me use the flat list here. Okay, let's use the flat list to show the data. So it would be post data dot data. Then we'll create key extractor. So it would be item comma index and to string. Index to string. Okay, let's render the card here. Render item inside the const render item. We will be having item comma index and define its type to any for now. It will return the postcard. Styles.postcard. Okay, so postcard is created. We will do the align self to the center and margin vertical to 10. Okay, let's add the data here. insert the text. We have two text. One is title, one is body. So it would be item dot title. This would be item dot body. So we have our data. So we have successfully set up the Redux here. So you can do it too, and we will see the post API and how we can log the errors and how can we alert the errors, show the errors to the UI. We will see in the next part because the video has been like too long. Okay, so see you in the next part.